Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to ZAZ, Zero Agenda Zone. No script, no filters. Just have some crazy opinion conversations. I have a dear friend of mine in the studio, Linda. I always start off with our connect. Linda is the wife of a very good friend of mine. We was actually colleagues, and he retired, and we actually became neighbors also as well. He moved, I moved, and we both going separate ways. I'll let her go ahead and share her story. I think it's very unique. Um, Linda is the author,
I am.
of how many books you've written so far?
16,
16 books.
13 of them are actually a series. They
Okay.
go together. If you read one, you've gotta read the rest because otherwise you won't be happy, you'll be disappointed.
All right. So 16 books, 13 more series. What kind of books are they? Are they like books about like
It's
James Patterson, Secret Swirl?
a little different. Basically, I focus on group of people, but it starts out with one woman, fiercely independent woman, but her life kinda gets upended, and I always felt that mine did too in a way. I mean, obviously, the book's not about me, but you take
I got to read
God
this book
forbid, if it
now.
were about me, I'd be in jail, uh, right now, but it's fiction. It's definitely fiction, but you tend to put a little bit of yourself in your stories, and other author would understand that. Um, but my husband likes to joke, "Oh, I'm on page 38," and I say, "You better not say that because you didn't read the books and, you may not wanna be on page 38." It's a pretty dark series. A lot of people think of it as a thriller. My main character's name, Marcy Jensen. Her life is, upended by nightmares, violent outbursts, unexpected encounters with danger, and she doesn't know why. One night, she meets someone named Liam and agrees to help uncover his family's murders. Later, she doesn't know why she did that, except that she was probably a little too drunk and a little too emotional to see anything clearly. But she's drawn into a perilous world of revenge, suspense, and unanticipated emotional intensity.
Wow.
So it kind of blends thrilling action, psychological suspense, complex romantic tensions. I'm hoping it keeps readers on the edge of their seats.
Well, I mean, you already knocked out 13 of them, so
Yeah.
yeah.
So if you start with one, Rage is the name of the book, and basically that's this woman.
Let me ask this: it's gonna be two-part question. The first one is, what inspires you to start writing books?
That has to do with a life that was uncertain. Um is what actually ended up getting me to sit down every day full time. I mean, originally, I always wanted to write. I mean, I've been writing not books, but I mean, I've always liked to write since I was 8 years old. The difference is you write a few stories here and there, but life gets in the way. You've got to work, you've got to raise kids, you've got a husband who travels, you have pets, whatever you have, you're busy and years go by, and I'm the type of person that needs quiet. I need focus. I need concentration. And the only way to get that is to not be bothered by the everyday noises. Best time to write for me, when I really got into it full time, I wrote at night. I wrote from like 7, 8 or after PM all the way through till, say, 7 or 8 in the morning because the phone wasn't ringing, the doorbell wasn't ringing, the kids weren't home, the dog was sleeping, and my husband was sleeping.
Yeah.
I should say it was in 2013 when I started, but I had a lot of ups and downs. I lost a lot of people in my life that were important to me, at young ages. I ended up with breast cancer, which was pretty serious. I believe God put me here for a reason. I think my odds of survival weren't good, and I believe that there's something I was supposed to do. I just didn't know what it was. And I had my own business, and I worked that for a long time, and I continued it after my breast cancer, not knowing if I was gonna keep surviving or not. You've got that section of time in there where you don't know. I lost my best friend to breast cancer. There were, like, 4 women I knew, that had breast cancer. Fortunately, 3 of us survived and 1 didn't, and the one that didn't was she was damn special. She was, my best friend in the whole world, closer than you can imagine, unless you have that kind of relationship, and when I lost her, my life kinda went upside down. You don't know if it's gonna come back, and when the odds are 25% that you might survive, it kinda hits you in the gut.
Yeah.
So, I went back to my business afterward, I kept working it, but then I felt pretty much empty. I said, This isn't good." Plus I had back problems from it. I had, ache and pains in my fingers and embroidery, which was my business, is a lot of bending over, threading needles, sewing, computer work, designing. It was just too much and I just couldn't do it anymore. So I think it was around 2010 when I just finally gave it all up. And then I said, I got to figure out what I want to do. And then one day it hit me, you know what? I want to write. And I told my husband, I said, this is what I'm going to do. And I said, I know you've heard me say a lot of times in the past, I wanted something and didn't, you know,
Know what it was? Right.
yeah, or it didn't come to fruition. But finally, I said, this is what I want to do. So for pretty much 2012, I made sure I had a good computer. I got myself together and just made a date that January 1st, 2013 was gonna be it. And it sounds like, "Oh, that was your New Year's resolution," but I didn't do resolutions. It's a new year, a new beginning. I had been cancer-free at that point. Things were still going on, but,
Feel like it was
oncology.
curable. Yeah.
Yeah, they say, "Okay, well, we consider you cancer-free from the day you were diagnosed." I don't believe in that. When you go through it, you don't take the day you were diagnosed. You take the day when all the crap is over, and that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
in 2007 for me. I survived 5 years, which was your first big hurdle. I finally just said, "Yep, I need to put this into play because I think this is what's gonna make me happy." And when I started doing it, I just couldn't stop. I was writing almost every waking moment. And I just kept going and going, and I ended up with this freaking huge story at like 179,000 words. And my daughter was in the publishing industry and she says, Mom, what the heck? You got to do under 100,000 words for a book like this or that. So I said, whoops.
For
Then
create
I was just creating, it was like it was coming to me and I couldn't stop. And I just kept writing. And people were talking about writer's blocks. And
did it did that give you the idea of like doing a series because you wrote so much in that first one? Like, maybe I should do
I
part two, part three,
It was
part
really
four.
I didn't originally, I thought, "You know what? I'm just gonna do a trilogy. I'm just gonna do 3 books. That's enough. That's easy. It shouldn't be too hard." And I think I can do that. And part of that at the time was a couple of series that came out that had trilogies. I think I'm gonna work on this. Plus, I did a lot of research. I made sure I knew what I was doing before I started. I wanted to know how to set it up. And then I made that date of, January 1st to get started, and I was so happy and excited when I was doing it, I just couldn't stop. It was like an addiction. Writing wasn't a career decision, really, for me. It was more like a need.
It's kind of got you where you need to be, especially when you said all the little turmoil that was going on in your life.
To me, it was a
Therapeutic.
response to being reminded that more than once how brief and fragile this life is. And
Yeah.
that you've gotta do what you love and what you enjoy because that I could have been the end just like that, just like it was with my friend that broke my heart when she left. And I had other losses that were just like, "Look at this. This person's out of my life, and I never thought they would be." Difficulties through an illness that a lot of people don't survive just just really pushed me. Those close calls just pushed you to finally stop and think. And that's pretty much what I did, and it changed everything for me.
Yeah,
I
they have
became happy.
yeah, they have this thing, they say, life is short, and I remember hearing a gentleman say, "Well, living is the longest thing you can do." So it's not necessarily, it's not
Yeah.
necessarily short. It's just
Um,
it's uncertain.
it is, but it's not certain, and it feels short. You take it upon yourself at that moment to just change everything and change your life. I mean, I closed my business. I had that for 15 years. I loved it while it was going, but it wasn't my end all and be all of who I was. I just finally had to give myself permission to write full time, immediate, not someday, but right then and there.
Completely
And
committed to it.
yeah, I mean, what I was familiar with, I completely gave up just
Right.
to start on this passion that I've always had, but just never found the right time.
Well, that kinda draws me to another question, that part 2 of that question. What author, like, inspires you? Or, like, I would say, someone that you, feel like you tailored your craft to.
You know, it's funny, someone read, a couple of my books and said I reminded them of an author, and it happened to be one of my favorite authors. And I thought that was a compliment. Her name is Janet Ivanovich, and she wrote numerous books on the same characters. They can be read supposedly individually, and mine can't. They have to be read in order. It's like a
Yeah,
soap
a
opera.
series, yeah,
It's a
right.
series of today, tomorrow, the next day is there's no breaks pretty much.
I got you.
So you have to read them in order, but her stories I loved her stories because they made me laugh, maybe even made me cry a little. That's not what they were intended to do, but I'm a pretty emotional person. Well, you know, I think that's a compliment that somebody who read my book said, "You know what? Your books remind me of Janice." And I said, "That is a huge compliment because I love her. She's like one of my favorite authors."
Nice. You ever
And
try to
another
reach out to her?
I actually did, and I did I did mention that she was one of my favorites, but I'm sure a lot of people probably told her that. She's very popular.
Right.
I
Well, it
think
doesn't
they
hurt
even
to
made a
try.
movie. Hmm?
It doesn't hurt to try, reach out. I
Yeah,
mean, you never
you
know.
know, they don't usually respond or they say thank you for your interest and for being a fan. That's pretty much it. Um It seems like I have a similar
Writing style.
pattern maybe to her, but
Okay.
it's yeah, as I said, hers are real comedy, and I mean, I feel like there's some laughs in there, here and there, maybe. Uh, there were people that told me they had a few chuckles here and there, but it is very it can be emotionally draining, and it's intensive for this series.
You had 16 books and those 13 are a series. What are those other 3? Man, I am
There's
like a
3
mathematic genius here, 16. I
13
know
plus 3.
13 plus
Yeah,
3.
16. 3 standalones. 3
So,
standalones.
what are
They're
those
by
stand up
themselves, one and done.
okay. I like that one and done.
Yeah. I
Uh,
mean, I have 1 murder mystery, but the rest are kind of romantic suspense, heavy on the romance in the Marcy series because it is about her relationships. Clarity doesn't come from ambition. It usually comes from survival. Honest about my motivation for writing, so I don't want to pretend that it's about numbers or universal approval. For me, it's what makes me feel whole in a way that's similar about us as we want approval maybe more from those around us than we do from the outer world.
that is the world. I mean, we I think we yearn for approval for some people, or we're so afraid of someone's opinion of
Yeah.
of the situation or ourselves. And I don't know.
You know, I
People say
if
they
you
don't
got the
care, but
news
I guess we all care to a certain degree.
I think
But
we do. It's
yeah,
human
but
nature.
yeah, how does it affect you? For me, does it add any value to my life? That's typically kind of like the first thing that comes out of my mouth. Like, does this person add any value? If this stuff they saying add any value, I assess the situation and adjust myself accordingly.
It's still
Lose my
hard
number.
to tune it out.
Yeah, just lose my number. That's kind of how I go.
Just lose my
I do, man. Like I eliminate people in a minute. I'm like a block and delete kind of guy. Block
That's
and
okay.
then
I think
delete.
I
Yeah,
admire that.
They say, for reasons, for seasons, and lifetimes. That's what people come in your life for. A reason, for a season, some of a lifetime.
A lot of people that have faith believe that. I could be just
No, I just
my
think
personal opinion.
just everyday's life because I mean I could be engaged and have a decent relationship with folks for 5 or 6 years or 10 years, and then it takes one thing or two
Sure.
things, and then it's like okay, that ran its course.
Yep, I
Um,
had a friend like that, and
yeah,
when they started making me feel
yeah,
smaller or not important or what I said didn't matter, I said, "I'm done." I
it's
just
crazy. Even in business, a businessman, he made a key thing. I'm just throwing some numbers out there. When he started his company, it was like a $50 million company or something crazy like that. And, he shook hand the CFO. He had a conversation. Said, "Well, very great guy, and he was happy that he got him to where he needed to be, but he's just not a $100 million CEO, or a CFO or whatever." You know what I'm saying? He got him to 50,000. The person that he needs is not that guy to get him to 100
yes,
million.
yeah,
You see? So I think that goes
absolutely.
along with some friendships too, because if you're at a certain stage and you have grown or you have growth and this person's still stuck back into where you were and that's not where you want to be, that may not be that person that carry you to that next journey that you want to go to. So
Absolutely, they took care of and they were in
they
your
had
life for
had
that
they had,
moment.
they had a purpose.
Yeah,
And
for that moment.
yeah,
Oh,
it
I've met many people like
sounds
that.
shitty, but that's reality.
I think it works both ways. I think
Yeah,
what you gave them and what they gave you, hey, it worked for the moment, and maybe it's not gonna work tomorrow.
I like it, Linda. So um I keep my sessions, 30-minute ish. I don't know if you listen to my Instagram or my YouTube. If you haven't, definitely
I have
subscribe.
listened to a couple.
Okay. So I start off with a once upon a time. Everyone shares a once upon a time story. I don't know what it would be. It could be anything. But I do know you did tell me something that was funny as hell one time. I don't know, we was having dinner or something, Tony and everyone and yourself. And he shared this this story about the newspaper or the magazine or something from your in-laws that you had to pay like this crazy
Oh,
amount of I mean, if you're comfortable sharing that one, you had to mail back a magazine.
think of what the magazines at the time were, what, 2, $3? And I think it cost us almost 30 to mail back a freaking magazine that
Alright.
she had to have.
Alright, so what first we got to set the scene real quick. She's talking about her mother-in-law. Now, correct me if I butcher this story up. So anyway, the mother-in-law had a magazine that she let Linda use.
Tony wanted it
Okay,
to
so his
build.
yeah.
It was a magazine on how to build a pizza oven.
Okay, her husband
It
named
was a
Tony
dream
as
of
well.
his.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the mother-in-law. She keeps a lot of things around.
called a hoarder.
I just try to be polite.
Oh, okay. Some people are hoarders, but
So anyway, so the mother-in-law, she like keeping a lot of shit, whatever.
a lot of
So her son grabs a magazine and said, "Hey, it's an interesting article." The magazine was already like 10 years old.
yeah, it was pretty old.
They take it. They go back to their home. They live in a different state, but somewhere down the line, she reached out to you, correct?
Yep. She's like, "Where's that magazine?" She didn't forget it.
So
And he goes, "I still have it. Are you done with it?" "Yeah, pretty much. I think I'm done with it." Okay. You're gonna give it back?" And he goes, "Huh? You Yeah, I want it back." I have no idea why.
maybe she wanted to make a piece of it.
That was it. I think it's an addiction to not give anything up. But,
How much did you pay to get that magazine sent back to her? Did you have to FedEx it first class?
I know he did put it was upwards of 25 plus dollars to get that magazine back to her, probably $2 magazine, if that at the time, and I'm thinking, "Are you freaking kidding me? You actually have to mail that back?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, you know my mom, she
Yeah,
wants her magazine."
you need a
And I'm
piece.
thinking, I should have told him, "Find that magazine when you clean out the house."
Yeah, I paid $25 for that shit. I want it back. I'm gonna frame that. Yeah. I'm gonna have Tony on here. Anyway, her husband, Tony, as well, he's a pilot. He's been a pilot for 40 plus years.
Yeah, at
He
least. Yeah, I
does,
mean, he started at 16 years
yeah,
old
he
just flying little
flown
Cessnas.
military planes. He flies rotaries
Mhm.
as well, along with,
He
helicopters,
Yeah, I'm sure he has more than
Gulfstreams.
money to hear some of them.
Yeah, definitely. And also we share a common, thing as well. We into cars, and he's into classic cars in the 40s and 50s, and I'm more of an era of the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, muscle cars, a lot of was, you know,
Yeah, he like
happened I mean,
yeah,
we
he
have a 1936, so
yeah, and
and
he
he's
also
re
has a 40 something Ford as well.
41,
41,
and yeah, and
yeah.
he's actually redoing the engine on the 36, so I'm sure he'll have stories about that.
Well, I already gave some suggestions. One thing I can say, guys, I love spending other people's money. When they have when they have an idea, I'm like, "Yeah, you should do this, you should do that."
You should.
Oh, yeah, you're very opinionated. I love spending their money. Anytime it comes down to things like that, I have some grand ideas. Like, hey, I should just have me like some kind of broker. Like, I got a guy for this and I have a guy for that. Yeah, so but anyway, hey Linda, we're gonna close the session. You stay on the line, don't hang up.
Okay.
Hey guys, I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you listening. Please subscribe, give me any kind of opinions, thumbs up, thumbs down, things that you like or dislike. Throw it in the comments, something that you may hear that you want to hear from Linda or something you're interested in, drop it in the comments on Instagram or YouTube. My Instagram, always have the YouTube link. Tune in for a little teaser. I'm going to drop a couple things out on YouTube, and then a few days later, I'm going to drop the full episode um, on YouTube. But anyway, once again, thank you for listening to ZAZ Zero Agenda Zone. I'm Tony, your host, and we have Miss Linda here. I would definitely be recycling her back on again, and we'll start talking. Maybe we should write a book about me.
That might be
Yeah.
fascinating.
Oh, it'd be full of shit. It'd be definitely a suspense thriller, comedy. What else we got?
There's always a little bit of
Yeah,
reality in
yeah, a little
there.
bit of reality.
A little bit,
Yeah, exactly. As
but
long as I
not
don't
much.
die, I don't want to die at the end. Like I want to be one of
You
those.
know what? I'm big into HEA, which is, happily ever after.
Yeah, there
I
you go.
have to
There you go.
spoil that. That's just me.
I'm
I
cool
don't
with that too.
believe in ending an entire series
Yeah,
unless there's a growth and a purpose and a point.
yeah, that's true. I mean, I want to be able to fly too, but we'll get into that later. But once again, hey guys, I'm dropping the video, and Linda, stay on the line. Thank you for listening.
Thanks.